Hello everybody, welcome again to Dr. Samuel Math, and in this video we continue looking at the solutions to the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate Examination of July 2021, and we are on number 9, part B. This question is a trigonometry question, and it reads, from a harbor H, so we refer to the diagram, and this is H here. The bearing of two ships, Q and R, down here, are 069 degrees and 151 degrees respectively. Q is 175 kilometers from H, so I'll put the 175 kilometers right now. While R is 242 kilometers from H, and that is given. So the first question said to complete the diagram above to show the information given. Now you have already put in the 175 kilometers. So now we have to put in the 151 degrees since the 069 degrees is given already. Now remember, bearings show direction, and the reference point for all directions is the north direction. That is why the north arrow is always drawn to get the bearing. So 069 degrees is clockwise from north 69 degrees. But we always write bearings with 3 figures, so we have 069 degrees. So the bearing of R from H is 151 degrees. So this total angle is 151 degrees. So it means we can find the angle inside the triangle by subtracting 151 minus 69 degrees. And you can do this with your calculators. When you subtract 151 minus 69, I got 82 degrees, and I put the angle inside the triangle. So now I've completed part 1. I have put in all the information given in the diagram. So we move on to part 2, where we have to calculate the distance QR. That is the distance between the two ships to the nearest kilometer. So we have to find that distance here, QR. Now this is not a right angle triangle, so we cannot use the trigonometrical ratios. We have to use either the sine rule or the cosine rule. Now both rules are given to you in the examination. I will show you them shortly. But note what we have here. We have in the triangle, we have 2 sides and the angle between the 2 sides. So let's go to the rules to see which one we would use. Now this is how the rules are given to you in the examination. You are given the triangle with the angles capital A, capital B, and capital C, and the sides named according to the angle opposite, the small letter of the angle opposite. And if we note carefully, we'll realize that the cosine rule is what we should use, because in the cosine rule, it simply states that any side squared, like A squared, is equal to the sum of the squares of the other 2 sides minus the product of these 2 sides times the cosine of the angle opposite the side we started with. And therefore, since in the sum we have 2 sides and the angle between, and we have to find the angle, the side opposite the angle, it means that we can use the cosine rule because we will only have one unknown. So we'll go back to the problem and use the cosine rule to solve it. So from the cosine rule, we can start with the side we want, RQ. So it states that RQ squared equals the sum of the squares of the other two sides, which is 242 squared plus 175 squared minus 2 times the product of the same two sides. So minus, let's continue on the next line, minus 2 times 242 times 175 and times the cosine of the angle, which is 82 degrees. So we have written the cosine rule down and put in the values we have. So now we simply have to calculate all this to find RQ squared. And when you get that answer, we square root it to find RQ. Now you can do this all one time on your calculator, which is what I'll be doing now. So I have my calculator here. And so let us calculate what we have here. So we have 242 squared, 242 squared plus 175 squared minus 2 times 242 times 175 times the cosine of 82. I'll press my 82 first, then I press the cosine button, and then the equal sign to find the total answer for R squared. So R squared is 77401 point a few digits. So all I have to do right now is find the square root of that, so I press the square root button, and I found that R squared is 278 kilometers. RQ equals 278 kilometers to the nearest kilometer. We have used the cosine rule and we have found the second part of the question, which is RQ. So I can put it here, 278 kilometers. And that's the second part of the sum. So we move on to part 3, which states that we have to calculate how far due south is ship R of the harbor H. How far due south is ship R of the harbor H. So we go back to the sum. That's the harbor H, that is ship R. Now, in bearings, since north is straight upwards, then south is the opposite of north, which is straight downwards. So all we need to draw is draw a straight line due south to where R is, to the left of R, and then a straight line due east to meet R. So in effect, we have to draw a right angle triangle. Let us do this now. We'll draw a line straight down. So we'll draw a line south and straight across to R, as east to R. And this angle is a right angle because basically the angle between the north direction and the east direction is a right angle, 90 degrees. So since you have a right angle triangle, then you can use the trigonometrical ratios. So let us see what ratio should we use. So we have the hypotenuse of the right angle triangle, that's a 242 kilometer length. And do we have an angle other than the 90 degrees? Yes. We have this one right here, because we know the total angle in the straight line is 180 degrees. And so to find the angle inside the triangle here, we can simply add 69 plus 82 and subtract from 180. And you can do this with your calculators. So I'm going to do 180 minus, in brackets, I'll put the sum of 69 plus 82. Then I will close the brackets and equal, and I'll get the answer as 29 degrees. So therefore, this angle here is 29 degrees. And we have to find the distance south. So we have to find this length here. Let us name that point here as, let's give it any name, let's say S. So if we name this S, then we have to find HS. So from our trigonometrical ratios, we have the hypotenuse, and we want the adjacent side, the side next to the angle. And adjacent over hypotenuse is cosine. So we will say cosine of 29 equals adjacent, which is HS, over hypotenuse, which is 242. And therefore, HS to find HS, we simply multiply both sides by 242. So we are going to get HS is equals to 242 multiplied by cos 29. When we do that, we'll get the answer. And so we get our calculators, and you multiply 242 times cosine of 29. Equals, and you get 211.657, etc. So the nearest whole number, that is 212 kilometers. And that is the distance R is south of each. So that's it for the trigonometry question. So next time, we are going to move on to the vectors and matrices question. If you like this video, then you subscribe or share. Thank you. I will see you all next time.